You know you have come a long way in your journey of transformation, but you suddenly find yourself falling back into your old patterns and compulsive behaviors. The behaviors that you know are not serving you. When you see yourself behaving that way or reacting to things like you used to, then you feel confused, you feel discouraged, you feel stuck, you feel like you are in a rut. Then you ask yourself, why do I behave like that? Why do I still have conflicting thoughts and behaviors? You behaving that way is because you are in an uncomfortable stage of your life where your old self, your old identities are gone, but your new self isn't fully born yet. So you are in the midst of transformation, and you behaving that way, falling back into your old patterns, is just a normal part of this process. So when you see yourself falling back into your old patterns, just breathe deeply and become present. Feel your emotions in your body and observe what is coming up. What is the thought that is coming up? What is the emotion that is coming up? And know that you are not those thoughts and emotions. You are the awareness behind those thoughts and emotions. Later, sit down with yourself and renew your values. Think about what is important in life for you. Think about how you want to feel from now on. Think about who you want to be from now on. That pause in solitude will give you so much clarity, and clarity is power. Go through this process every time you see yourself falling back into your old habits, like when you see yourself seeking someone's approval, when you see yourself craving for love, when you see yourself binge eating or self-sabotaging or creating horrible stories in your mind. And when you observe yourself and you see too much of those old patterns and it's just too much, indulge in ordinary beauties of day-to-day life. Use your body's sensation to ground yourself. Your body is just there to help you. So touch a surface, listen to the noises around you, or feel the sun on your skin, or just lie down and watch clouds moving in the sky as I do. The process that you are going through is not a comfortable and easy process, so give yourself some grace. See the progress you have already made in your day-to-day life. See that you are aware of those old patterns getting activated and you see them 3 times out of 10 times. See that you are making that progress. And know that you are your own midwife, helping your new self to be born. And when you see yourself falling back into your old patterns, don't ask why. The why that comes out of curiosity brings a lot of insight with it. But the why that we usually ask ourselves, especially when we are upset with ourselves, it's usually a judgmental why. It comes through from a judgmental place. And it feeds your ego, which was dissolving through your transformation. Your ego is the combination of all your old patterns that you inherited or learned, and your past stories that defined you before your transformation, that had become kind of your identities. When you become conscious and aware of the old patterns that you have, then your ego starts getting weaker and weaker, and finally it dissolves into consciousness. And that's the last thing your ego wants. So it is going to fight you back through this process. And that's the thing that makes this process more difficult. And as Eckhart Tolle mentions, ego is clever. So it is going to find every hidden pocket of your old beliefs or your bottled up emotions that you haven't processed yet, to bring them up to you and to prove to you that you haven't changed, that you have failed, that you haven't been able to really transform and make you spiral back into where you were before. And then your ego would feel winner of this battle and it feels safe. But why would you give in? As Dr. Hawkins mentions in his famous book Letting Go, when we can't fully let go of an old pattern, it's usually because it has a payoff for us. It somehow benefits us, and that benefit is usually the comfort that it has for us. As humans, we constantly crave for comfort. We constantly are looking for comfort. And when you develop the habit, this old pattern, when you were little and you practiced it since, then coming out of this is not comfortable. So because it has such a huge momentum behind it. So it's not easy, but staying attached to those patterns won't be easy either, because life will bring them up again and again for you to become conscious of them and let them dissolve. Life is for expansion, for growth, and egoic patterns are for protection. They are there to protect you and keep you stay where you are, because that's where your ego feels safe. Now, saying all that doesn't mean that your ego is your enemy. As you go through this process of healing and transformation, don't make an enemy out of your ego, because your ego would love that. When you turn your ego into an enemy, you would confirm its reality and it gets stronger. As Dr. Hawkins mentioned, your ego is not wrong or bad, it's limited. We want to be that unlimited being we were born to be, and that's the opposite of what our ego wants. So instead of trying to fight back your ego or killing your ego, integrate it. Give it some love for how hard it's trying to protect you. And maybe that protection was necessary for the time it was created, like training wheels on your bikes, that they gave you some stability when you were little and they kept you from falling. But if you don't let them go, they may prevent you from learning how to balance and ride confidently. So there comes a time in life that you need to let them go. And as you go through this process, knowing a couple of things would help. One is that everybody goes through a similar process, so you're not really alone in this. Second thing is that going through this process, knowing that all those old habits, old patterns, and your ego had some use for us. Acknowledging that they had that use doesn't mean that you are going to allow them to run your life for you. So don't be scared to acknowledge their presence and the benefit that they had before in your life. And the third thing that helped me a lot was that understanding that this process is not a linear process. We want it to be a linear process. We want to go through this transformation step by step and get to some sort of destination. No matter what old pattern we are facing, we want to get to that destination, but it's not how things work. We may face an old patterns again and again in different stages of our life and in different forms until it is completely resolved. At the end, let go of trying to control this process of transformation. Let go of the need to see how exactly your new self is going to be born. Let go of needing to have a specific outcome through this process. As someone said, you can't make a flower blossom. It's going to blossom in its own timing, and transformation is like blossoming. It's going to happen in its own timing and you can't rush it. But be there for yourself through the whole process. Sending you all my love. Bye.